check this question out. Now, I myself have never been to art school. And listen, my story about how I started, you can find it on YouTube. I'm a self-taught artist and autodidact. So I've taught myself how to paint, how to draw, and I continue to do that. Until now, I've not taken any steps to go to any accredited school system institution to teach myself anything about art. That doesn't mean that it would not be beneficial to me. Because here's the thing that I want you to start seeing and knowing about art schools, but any other accredited educational institutions. Their purpose is to give you the framework, within the framework, the foundation about what it is that you come there for. So if you come there for arts, within that particular framework, you learn the foundation of anything that you need to learn. There might be specialisms, there might be simulations of real life situations, there might be practice that you need to do, but eventually you get your diploma based on what has been taught to you and that you know the information, how to implement it and how to apply it. The real work is outside. Outside of the school building, all right? There where the big boys are standing on the corner, ready to stump your butt if you want to try to act up. There is where you will find the real information, how it really goes into the real world. And it goes for any accredited educational institution. It already tells you actually that it is not the purpose of an art school to tell you about how you set yourself as a business owner for your own art practice, right? Meaning that you get to sell your work to an audience, to a group of art collectors that have a demand for your work. You don't get to learn how you create a demand for your work. You get to learn how to do art. The answer to the question partially is, this is not their purpose. If they don't teach you how you can create a demand for your work, where does the demand then come from? And that is not to say that these art schools do not teach their students what the art market is about, who are the players. I really don't believe that. You need to know how to step into the market, what the market is about, and what your position is. Or, like I already said, it's kind of ambiguous. Because if I'm not being taught how to serve my audience, how to serve my customers, what am I actually being taught to do? Could it be that I'm being taught to be the supplier to already existing art market, where the demand is being regulated, influenced, and controlled by a few players? Could that maybe be the case? Now, let me make a disclaimer. And y'all know I will make disclaimers because it is not always that black and white. I understand. And I know there are also exceptions to the rules. There are great artists that have shown us that they have set up their own businesses, being the supplier directly for their demand. These are people that went to art school. They probably dropped out of art school, or people who have never seen the inside of an art class at all, right? These can be any of the options that I've just described, but they all have one thing in common. They have in common that they are not moving from a simulation created in art school. They went outside to stump with the big boys who are standing on the corner. They moved through trial and error. They've created a blueprint. Okay, they took all of the audacity that they had and they set up their business the way that they wanted to see that for themselves. They understood that they were the supplier, but they also understood that if there is a market for my product, which is your artwork, if I know who my audience is, if I know how big they are, if I know their expenditure, if I know in what social economical class they are, if I know how to get access to them, I don't need any intermediaries. I don't need any other party who has actually the influence and the and power over the demand that is in the art market. I can actually get my own pie or get a substantial piece of the pie. If you want to do something serious with it, you do have to have that mentality. There's more than enough for everyone, and there is something for everyone. I just have to figure out where my peoples are. But that is not something that you get to learn in art school. When you look at the art market, and it doesn't even matter what region in the world it is, it really doesn't. You can pull out any publication on Googleina. All right, go to the Googles, you can pull it out. You will always find that the art market is extremely skewed. When you look at the number of players on the art market who have a true power, influence, and control over the demand, which is a handful, and you look at the people that are supplying, I'm talking about people who make a first time painting and they are sending it into the world, right? That group of people is extremely bigger than the group of people who actually have the demand control and also the influence to control how the art market runs, how it operates, how people get to buy and sell art, how to trade in art. No wonder that all of that supply that goes into the market will run, of course, to the people that are the businesses in the market. The galleries, art agencies, art dealers. The ones who know how to market, value, price the work. That information is not really that available to that huge supply of artists. And even more so, or actually even less, they haven't been trained to do so. Now, we can argue, of course, whether that's good and bad. It's not a fair situation. Even though there are platforms, many platforms out there that want to level out, the playing field, but also customers giving more access into the art market, because even for customers, it can be really hard to get into the art market. It's not all in the abyss. There are ways that you as an artist can actually find your own way to, sell your work, sell your art, and really think from that business perspective and not from an entrepreneurial perspective. I have to correct even myself because I know I use entrepreneur and business owners interchangeably, but cognitively, I know they are not the same. Here's the difference. This is an entrepreneur. This is the meaning of an entrepreneur. So the desire, the hope that they make a profit. But this is a business owner. They don't hope. On my YouTube channel, I talk a lot about why it's so important for you as an artist, not only to get comfortable in pricing and valuing your work, but to actually do it. Because most of us undervalue. And if you don't have a clear sight of who your market is, who your buyers are, then it's also hard to say, well, how do I then value that? That's the challenge. That is the challenge about being an artist. And it also, like I already said, makes sense for that huge pool of suppliers to go to these businesses, art dealers, art agencies, and art galleries to ask for representation. Represent me, I'm in demand, and I will create enough supply for those who want it. Pick me. But if I have the power and I can pick whoever I want, I'm not going to pick you. I'm going to pick those who are the highest in demand for the classes who have the most money to spend. Enough galleries also, they are rising up saying, listen, we need to break that up. We need to make art also available, accessible for customers, but also make sure that there are artists out there who are not in that pool of the high, super uber high numbers, but have great art to offer that is affordable. There are enough of art galleries and art agencies out there. So it's not, like I already said, all in the abyss. But when you look at the number of it, it's a numbers game. I hope now that it's really clear to you where the power really lies. And why being a business owner and having that business owner mentality is actually a very powerful tool that you can give to people. It is really important to go out there in the world to see what it is. But if you would do that, that would mean that you would go for your own freedom. Now, you might disagree or agree with that. That is my personal opinion. You might liberate yourself and do it yourself. Just food for thought. See you at the next story.